Hiya, how you doing? Jimmy here. Now, if you haven't seen me before, I'm converting that Citroen Relay panel van into a hopefully stealthy camper van. But today's video is a bit different. I've also got a Nissan Note diesel and it runs like a bird normally and starts first time. But when the weather went a bit cold the other day, it wouldn't start. Now I think I know what it is. I think it's the glow plugs. Now, if you don't know what glow plugs are, stay right where you are and I'll tell you all about them. I'll tell you what they're for, how they work, I'll tell you how to test them, I'll tell you how to test them with a voltmeter, I'll tell you how to test them with an ohm meter, and I'll tell you how to test them if you haven't got a meter. I'll also tell you how to replace them if you need to. But first of all, get the kettle on. It's like a fridge in here. See you in a minute. Well, that's better. Get your priorities right. I forgot to tell you, near at the end of the video, I'll give you a little tip. Show you how to start your vehicle to get it to a garage if you don't fancy doing it yourself. It's just a one-off thing. You can't use it all the time. If you've got fault on your glow plugs, you need to get them sorted. But there's a little trick you can do just to get you started to save you a recovery fee. Well, what's the purpose of a glow plug? A glow plug is a cold start device for diesel engines, because diesel engines don't have a spark plug like petrol engines do. They rely on compression, and the glow plug preheats the air before the fuel is injected. So it is much easier to start an engine on warm air than it is on cold air. So the glow plug preheats the air as it's going into the engine. Now you only need this when you're doing cold starts. You don't need it in the summer months and you don't need it when you've warmed the engine up. But it's automatic, you don't need to do anything anyway. There's a little icon, comes on your dash for a few seconds, and when the icon goes out, that's you okay to start your engine. And you'll see it only stays on for about 6 seconds. There it is. And it's gone straight off. It should stay on longer than that. Now, you can't even see them. You see all the trims are in the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the trims off. I'll come back and I'll show you where they are, because they're not all located in the same place on different engines. They're always in the cylinder head or the inlet manifold. But all engines are slightly different and the trims will be slightly different. So I'll take my trims off and I'll come back to you. Okay, I've got the trims off now. Now, the only trims I've had to take off on this is a Nissan Note, by the way, is the top cover, which just pulls off, the pipe across here, the intake pipe across there. That's all the bits down there. Now, it looks more than it is. It wasn't that hard. You take them off and there is the glow plugs in the top, and there's 4, just like spark plugs. There's 4, one for each cylinder. Now it looks like my phone's going dark and bright here. I hope it's not. It's been playing up. It always does in the cold. What I'll do is I'll turn the camera around so you can see it better, and I'll try and point them out to you. Okay, there's a one. There's another one. Another one. Another one. They've all got wires going to them. That's probably the easiest way you'll find them. And this one isn't actually that bad. Some engines are much worse than this. Right, so the next stage of this job is to take the wires off. And on this case, they just pull off. Sometimes they've got a little nut on. But these ones just pull off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the airline and I'm going to blow down to get all the dirt from around the base of the glow plugs, and I'm going to spray down some releasing oil, WD-40, something like that. and then I'll give it a couple of minutes and I'll come back to you. Okay, while the WD-40 is soaking into the glow plugs, I'll show you how to test them. I'll test them in place. I'll show you how to test them on the bench later on. And I'll test them with a voltmeter, an ohm meter, and I'll test them without any meter. I'll show you how that's done. Firstly, we'll do it with the ohm meter. You connect the ohm meter to put the black lead to earth on the engine, so metal on the engine, and then just try it. I don't know if you can see, but if I put that on another part of the engine, it goes to 0 because there's no resistance. Now, if you touch the tops of the glow plugs, you should, if they're working properly, get a reading of between half an ohm to 1.5 ohms. I think I'll check a new one. I'll check a new one in a minute. But I've already checked these and we're not getting any reading at all. So I don't think any of my glow plugs are working. And the next test is to turn that to volts. Put the the black lead on the live side, and if you touch the red to the tops of the glow plugs, you should get some sort of reading close to the battery reading, around 12 volts. And the last way of testing them, which is the way that I always used to do it, because it's dead quick, dead easy, don't need any meters, but you have to be careful. If you get a piece of wire and connect, bare the two ends, connect one end to the live, then you must be very careful with this end because this will be live now. If this touches metal anywhere, you'll short the battery out. And what you have to do is very carefully, while that is still connected to the live, touch the top connecting parts of the glow plug. And sometimes the glow plugs are in very awkward places, so you must be very careful with this. If you touch the tops on it, if the glow plug is working, you'll get a little spark. And if there's no spark, that means the glow plug doesn't work. Now I'll show you that test on the new ones on the bench, because it's much easier to see, because I'll never be able to hold the camera and be very careful with the live wire. So I'll show you on the bench with the new ones. But that's the 3 tests: voltmeter, ohm meter, which I would do them 2 first, especially if you're not sure. And if you haven't got a meter, you can do it with a wire, but be careful. Now we'll try and take the glow plugs out now. Now there is a tendency for glow plugs to snap. So you must be very careful, go very gently, don't go like a bull in a china shop, riving at them. You must be very gentle. So I'll only film me taking the first one out because it'll make the film too long, but I'm only using a 1/4 drive ratchet because they're only 10mm, the heads on the glow plugs are only 10mm, and you wouldn't get a very big socket. If it was a bigger drive socket, you wouldn't get it in. But we're going to do it with a 1/4 drive, so you can't put a lot of pressure on them. And then just go very, oh, that one's came out pretty easy. If they don't come out easy, take them a little bit anti-clockwise, then a little bit clockwise, a little bit anti-clockwise, a little bit clockwise, and increase the movement as you're going until it's free to come out. But that one's coming out no problem at all. So I'll just take this one out and then I'll do the other 3 off camera. This one's exceptionally easy, I wasn't expecting that. And there we go. That is what a glow plug looks like. That's the bit the wire goes on, and that's the bit that heats up. So we'll I'll turn the camera off, take the other 3 out and come back to you. Right, it's my lucky day. They've all came out okay. None of them snapped. Mind you, the first one was the easiest one. The other three I did have to move a bit back, bit forward, bit back, but just uncanny, you'll be alright. Now I'm going to show you how to test them, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this and show you. I might have to turn the camera around, but we'll try first. So I'll get one of the new ones and show you on a new one. Right, brand new one. Right, we're going to do the voltage one first. So I've got the black wire connected to the live, which is a bit funny to be connecting the black to live. But this is going to show a minus reading because the polarity is going to be wrong. But we're not worried about that. So connect the live end to there and the black end to there. Now, I'm not going to do it next to the back in case there's a spark, but there won't be. And I don't know if you'll be able to see. I think you're too far away. Right, I'm going to turn the camera around. Okay, there's the glow plug. Like I said, put it to metal and earth. There, like that, and we're getting a negative 12.3 volts. Now, just disregard the negative, it's just because the polarity is wrong. So you are getting a reading. So that's what you would have got if the glow plugs were working when we were testing them in situ. Now, what I'll do is I'll quickly change over to ohms. Okay, now we've changed the multimeter to ohms. We've got the red lead on the end where the electrical connection would go, and we've got the black lead going on to the next to the threaded part, which would be an earth. And we've got 1 ohm. It's 0.91. It's what I said. It's between 0.5 and 1.5 for the ohms test. That's the readings you would have got. When you've done it in place if the glow plugs had been working all right. Now I'm going to do the one with the live wire, and I'm going to have to probably, because I'm going to need two hands, I'm going to have to probably wedge the camera in somewhere. So I'll come back to show you the live wire test. Okay, what we've got is this black wire. It is attached to the live side of the battery there, and I've clamped the glow plug to an earth with some mole grips. Now you don't need to do that. I'm only doing that to give me an extra pair of hands, an extra hand. Now if you touch that onto there, you see there is no spark, nothing at all, because that's one of the old ones. And now I'll change that for a new one, and hopefully you'll see the difference. Okay, we've swapped the old glow plug for a new glow plug, and we do it again, and hopefully you'll see that there's a little spark. It's not much, but you should see that there's a little spark. Can you see the sparks? Try and get it so it's on the black background. There, can you see the little sparks? I don't know if you can you see that? There. Can you see the little sparks? That means that it's, and you can see the end of the glow plug is glowing red. So that's the test that you can do before you go to all the trouble of taking all the glow plugs out, especially if they're in a worse design than this and they're harder to take out. Okay, I hope you can see this. I'm going to test all of the new ones. Now, I can't even see properly in the camera, but I'm hoping you can see that it should glow red. There you go. There's one. Watch where you're putting them because they are very hot and they obviously don't hold the end. And another one. I recommend you do this. I always used to check when I had the garage, I always used to check before you put the new ones in, because a faulty one and a good one look exactly the same. You can't tell by looking at them. You've got to test them. So you can either test them like that, but that's the quickest way. And obviously disconnect the wire as soon as you're finished, because you don't want a live wire. You don't want a live wire floating around, because if it touches any of the engine, any of the metal bodywork, it will short the battery out. So that's old ones out, new ones all tested. I've shown you the tests you do, the 3 tests. Right, I'll put the new ones in now, and I'll come back to you when I've fitted them. Well, that's it done, all back together and working. I've just tried it, it starts no problem at all again. So the refitting of the plugs is much easier than the removal, because there is a couple of points you should take note of. I would oil the threads. I don't know how much good that does, but it only takes a couple of seconds. Just oil the threads, and it will make it easier to screw them back in anyway. How long it'll last, I don't know, because these items aren't changed in a service. They're not checked. There's no maintenance. The ones I've just removed there now would have been the original ones from when the car was new. So oil the threads. Take your time. Do not get them cross-threaded, because if you do, you're cross-threading the threads in the cylinder head. Big job if you cross-thread it. But if you take your time and oil the threads, you should be able to feel that it's on the right thread, and put it in as far as you can by hand. Just take your time. As I say, just use a quarter drive ratchet so you don't go mad, and don't over tighten them, because you could put them in no problem and over tighten them and you've undone all the good work. So don't over tighten them, and that's about it. I did say I was going to give you a bonus tip. If you've decided you don't want to tackle this job, and you want to take your car to the garage but it won't start, and you just want to get it started to get you to the garage, there is a little trick. Now, put the coffee down. As I said, the glow plugs preheat the air before it goes into the engine. Now, if you get a hairdryer or a paint stripper gun and take the inlet off, the intake off, now it's different on every car, but I'll show you what I would do on mine. Now, that's your intake pipe there, but there's an air filter inside there, so you don't want to set the air filter on fire. So what I would do on this one is take the air filter out and blow your hot air into there. Now, it's better if you've got somebody that can help you. If you've got somebody that can turn the engine over while you're putting the hot air in, that's the best. But if not, warm all the air up and it'll still help. And I'd be very surprised if it doesn't start. So, but you don't want to be doing that every time you start it. So this is just to get you to the garage, save you a recovery bill. And that's it. That's it for now. And this is just before Christmas, so there'll be no more videos now till after Christmas, till after the new year actually. And probably next year we'll get back onto the beast. Now, probably my first job on this is going to be the back brakes, because the handbrake seized on, and it's because we haven't been anywhere this year, and that's probably like a lot of people with camper vans this year. And if yours has been standing, that's been standing since October 2019, and the handbrake's sticking. So that's my first job anyway. So in the new year, if you want to see how to fix a sticky handbrake, keep your eyes open. So all I have to do now is wish you all a happy Christmas and hope to see you in the new year. Thanks for watching.